Social care and social media marketing are not the same function. Treating them as one is how risk slips through quietly. If that sentence makes you uncomfortable, this episode is definitely worth a listen. Welcome to the Social Media CX Podcast, the show about what really happens when brands stop broadcasting and start having real conversations with their customers on social. I'm Brooke Sellas, and around here we believe conversations beat campaigns every single time. This show is for leaders navigating social as a customer experience channel, especially in complex, enterprise, and highly regulated environments. Let's get into it. Social care and social media marketing are not the same function. Treating them as one is how risk slips through quietly. If that sentence makes you uncomfortable, this episode is definitely worth a listen. Because this mistake is everywhere, especially in enterprise organizations, and it's one of the biggest reasons social care feels heavier and messier and riskier than it should. Today, I want to talk about what actually goes wrong when social care is treated like marketing and why this isn't a people problem, a tool problem, or a performance problem. Let's start with a little history lesson because this mistake doesn't come out of nowhere. Social started as a marketing channel. Brands have been using it for years, decades, to publish content, to build awareness, drive engagement, to measure reach. So when customers began asking questions on social, it made sense to bolt customer care, our social customer care, onto marketing. The people were there, the tools were there, the channel already existed and was thriving, and that decision worked for a long time. But when customer behavior changed and the organizational structure didn't, that's where things started to break. Here's the core issue we see. Marketing and social care are designed to optimize for fundamentally different things. Marketing, for instance, typically optimizes for things like attention, reach, engagement, growth, while social care optimizes for consequence, resolution, risk mitigation, trust preservation. Marketing asks how many people saw this, and social care has to ask who is affected if we get this wrong. Do you see where the mismatch is? Do you see where I'm going with all of this? Marketing creates exposure while social care absorbs exposure. And when the same team ends up being responsible for both of those things, but is only measured by marketing metrics, something's bound to break. Not loudly from what we've seen, but quietly. And if the model is left for too long operating in that way, the pain becomes much bigger and much louder. Here's what we see over and over and over again. Social inboxes fill up with account questions, service issues, complaints, confusion, emotion, lots of emotion. While the team handling these things is measured on engagement, trained on brand voice, optimized for speed and visibility, not empowered for escalation or resolution. And what happens when you're set up this way is that issues get minimized just by the nature of the setup. Questions get labeled as general versus retention or acquisition, aka saving money or making money. Escalation paths are unclear. Risks get normalized. And this, again, isn't because people don't care or that your team is underperforming. It's because the system hasn't been designed for consequence. This is how brands end up saying, this came out of nowhere when some sort of crises popped up. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, it didn't come out of nowhere. It's just been living in the wrong place. Now, categorizing these things and mislabeling this has real costs because risk surfaces publicly without clear ownership. This means things get messy and resolving an issue takes way longer than it should. Social teams burn out trying to do 2 jobs. We already know we do a lot more than 2 jobs, but this is hard, right? When you're getting measured on content performance and not if you saved the company or made the company money, it gets a little messy. The why becomes unclear. Customer experience and support leaders oftentimes don't see the full picture when the system is set up like this because they're not seeing all of these insights into this voice of customer data. Executives lose trust in social as a channel. We've seen this for years, and I think we're still trying to right this ship, right? A lot of executives still don't see the value in social, and I think that's because we've put so much emphasis on content and not enough on the customer conversations that are happening on those social channels. And here's the kicker. By the time leadership notices that there's a problem, things have already escalated because social care doesn't live where enterprise risk decisions are made. People need authority to make decisions and to solve issues. This is not a content issue. I repeat, this is not a content issue. It's an infrastructure issue. It's a setup issue. If you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, you'll see a QR code pop up on the screen right now. You can use this or scan this to download the State of Social Care report. It goes much deeper into this infrastructure gap and gives you language you can take upstream to help remodel your social customer care program. And if you're listening to the podcast, the link is waiting for you in the YouTube show notes, which are under this episode on YouTube, whenever you want it. Now, I want to make one thing very clear. I am not blaming marketing. Marketing isn't failing at social care. That is not what I'm saying. They can't fail because they were never built to own consequence. Social care isn't a content extension. It's a customer experience and risk function that happens to operate on social platforms. Once you see that, everything changes. Ownership starts to make sense. Metrics completely change. Escalation paths get clarified and nailed down. And social stops feeling really chaotic and, by the way, starts becoming really valuable. This is why we believe social care now belongs in CX or customer experience conversations, risk conversations, and executive conversations. Because this is where customer experience, trust, and risk now show up first. If your organization is still treating social care like marketing, nothing is wrong with your team. You're just asking the system to do a job it was never designed to do. And that's exactly what I want to keep unpacking this quarter with you all on the Social Media CX podcast. As always, if this show is helping you think differently about customer support on social media, please rate and review us at ratethispodcast.com/SMCX for the Social Media CX podcast. When you give us a rating, it helps us bring on more brilliant voices and keeps our community growing with intention. Until next time, think conversation, not campaign. Thanks for tuning in to the Social Media CX podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to up their social care game.